Assalamu alaikum, dear students. In this lesson, I am going to talk about leadership behaviors, attitudes, and styles. Let me ask you a simple question. How do we evaluate people? Are these intrinsic traits and qualities of a person? Are the actions of that person whom we are going to judge? Well, we might have different answers, but many of us would agree that we evaluate others based on their actions and reactions to different situations happening around them. Because actions and behaviors are readily available, observable, and measurable than traits. We cannot say confidently how much honest a person is, but we can say with confidence that how that person deals with some certain situation, how he behaves in that situation. Hence, believing this hypothesis, as well as understanding the limitations of trait theory, researchers began to explore the behaviors, attitudes, and styles of effective leaders. The assumption was effective leaders behave in certain ways. Their actions and attitudes to various situations distinguish them from non-leaders. It also supports the belief that leadership can be taught. Individuals can learn and adopt the behaviors of successful leaders. Lesson objectives include understanding the leadership behavior theory, explain the key leadership dimensions of initiating, structure, and consideration, describe the task-related leadership behaviors, to describe a relationship-oriented leadership attitudes and behavior, explain how leaders use 360-degree feedback to improve their performance, describe the different types of leadership styles, to discuss the case for gender difference in leadership style, and to determine how to choose the most appropriate leadership style. Frequent reference is made to leadership effectiveness. At number of times we have used this terminology, effective leaders or the leadership effectiveness. We need to define who is an effective leader. One definition may be that an effective leader is a person who helps and supports team members to maximize productivity while ensuring production quality, customer satisfaction, as well as employees' satisfaction. Leadership effectiveness can be measured using two key criteria: objective data and using subjective data. The objective data deals with number of sales, profits, production, the quality of products while staying within budget and time, whereas the second measure takes into account the judgment and perception of superiors, peers, subordinates, and customers about leaders' effectiveness. For example, team members may rate their boss, or Board members may rate a CEO, customers and clients may give their feedback on leaders' effectiveness. In the late 1940s, researchers began to study behaviors of different leaders in an attempt to understand the type of behavior exhibited by effective leaders. Instead of searching for leaders' traits, behavioral approaches are focused how leaders act and behave in different situations. These studies not only examined leaders' behaviors but also the impact of these behaviors on the performance and satisfaction of followers. According to one definition, behavior can be defined as the actions or reactions of a person in response to external or internal stimulus situation. Though many studies have been taken to identify and determine leaders' behavior and style, only few of these are regarded high among researchers. They include Ohio State Studies, University of Michigan Studies, and the Leadership Grid. Among the best known behavioral approaches to leadership are the Ohio State Leadership Studies. Researchers at Ohio State University administered a questionnaire to the employees of various organizations. They were asked to rate the statements about their managers' behaviors. After analysis, researchers developed a comprehensive list of leadership behaviors that was further narrowed down to two categories of leadership behaviors known as consideration and initiating structure. Consideration describes the extent to which a leader cares about subordinates, respect their ideas and feelings, and establishes mutual trust. Showing appreciation, listening to the problems of the subordinates, and seeking input from the followers regarding important decisions. These are all examples of considerate behavior. Considerate leaders typically foster an environment of trust and friendliness. They earn respect of their team members, while leaders who are low on consideration factor, they are known as authoritative and impersonal in their relationship with team members. Anyone can ask the following questions to measure how considerate a person is. Does he do personal favors for the people in the group work, like helping them in their day-to-day activities, or maybe bringing them coffee, or maybe filling for them while a person is sick? The second question is, does that person treat all people in the work group as his equal? Does he play any kind of bossy role or authoritative role? The third question can be asked, does he do little things to make it pleasant to a member of the staff, like maybe saying greetings in the morning, or appreciating him for the help that he has extended. Initiating structure describes the degree to which a leader is task oriented and he directs subordinates towards the achievement of objectives. Such a leader would clearly define his personal role as well as the role of each participating member. The leadership behavior might include allocating and directing job assignments, getting people to work hard, planning, providing timelines for the work activities, and taking coercive actions. Leaders who score high on this dimension define the relationship between themselves and their staff members, as well as the role that they expect each staff member to assume. Such leaders also look forward to establish well-defined channels of communication and ways of getting the job done. Initiating structure behavior may be measured by asking following questions. Does a leader try out new ideas in the work group? Does he emphasize meeting deadlines? Does he see it to the people in the work group are working up to their capacity? The Ohio State studies concluded that leaders exhibit two broad categories of behaviors: consideration and initiating structure. Consideration means that a leader is considerate, he believes in interpersonal relationships, he respects the feelings and opinions of the subordinates. Whereas initiating structure means leader likes to define the roles for the subordinates. Subordinates know that what is expected from them, how they would be evaluated. Although many leaders fall along a continuum that includes both consideration and initiating structure behavior, these categories are independent of one another. Both consideration and initiating structure contribute to an understanding of leadership because both are related to the leadership outcomes and effectiveness. As you can see in this figure, that consideration behavior and initiating structure behavior, they are not mutually exclusive. In other words, a leader can display a high degree of both behavior types or a low degree of both behavior types. Means he might be highly considerate and he might be highly initiating structure type leader, or might be he is low on the considerate factor and similarly he is low on the initiating structure factor. Likewise, a leader might demonstrate high consideration and low initiating structure, or low consideration and high initiating structure behavior. The findings of Ohio State study suggest that an effective leader will possess a strong ability to work with others and he builds a cohesive team, but will also balance that with the capability to create structure within which activities can be accomplished. Task related leadership attitudes and behaviors are focused more on accomplishing the task at hand rather than focusing on the interpersonal skills. In other words, this means that leader exhibits the initiating structure behavior. Following are the key behaviors of initiating structure leadership style: adaptability to the situation. As we know that change is inevitable in this dynamic world, effective leaders change their actions and plans according to the situation. They keep the contingency measures ready to deal with any unforeseen situation. Moreover, leaders set the vision of the organization and they devise a strategy to achieve that vision. Their actions, their plans ensure that team members don't distract from the path of goal achievement. Initiating structure leaders put the performance standards in place not only to measure the productivity but also the performance of their group members. High performance standards ensure the timely accomplishment of goals and objectives, the quality of products and services, as well as the customer satisfaction. To bring changes, leaders must take risks and execute plans in the presence of uncertainty. However, initiating structure leaders use their experience and skills to take educated risks. Effective leaders have necessary skills and knowledge to guide group members. However, leaders take a balanced approach to guidance, as too much guidance may result lack in delegating responsibilities and micromanagement. It may distract leader from its main responsibilities like setting the vision and devising a strategy to achieve that vision. Similarly, too little direction may result in micromanagement, that is, a situation in which team members may feel abandoned and at their own. At the same time, feedback is also important. Feedback is required to keep employees aware of their performance as well as their mistakes. Effective leaders are aware of the strengths and the weaknesses of their team members and they assign the responsibilities according to the strength of an individual. For example, if a member is good at technical skills while he is poor in interpersonal relationships, that member might be given the role of technical nature. But at the same time, the leader would give him opportunity to improve on his weakness. Asking tough questions is equally important as giving answers, and providing guidance. Effective leaders keep the team members involved by asking questions. It is vital to provoke thoughts and ideas for doing things and achieving goals in innovative ways. An important aspect of leadership behavior is to influence people. It takes interpersonal skills and behaviors to inspire others. In the context, following uh, behaviors and attitudes have been recognized. Aligning and mobilizing people. While leading a diverse group of people, one of the major challenges to keep them motivated and focused. Team members can only be aligned in the right direction if every member share a common purpose and vision. Members must support and help each other in achieving the vision. Relationship oriented leaders are open to the team members. This means they listen to their suggestions and opinions. By taking part into discussions and decision making process, employees feel themselves strongly connected to the organization. Another essential element of the leadership is becoming a source of inspiration for followers. Inspirations typically involves appealing to the emotions and values of others. Inspiration also means making yourself visible to the others. This visibility can be increased by regularly having formal and informal meetings with colleagues, employees, and customers. Relationship centered leaders often motivate their followers by satisfying their higher level needs, such as need for achievement, personal growth, a desire for recognition and admiration, and self respect. Particularly, professional growth has been recognized as one of the basic needs. Relationship focused leaders are warm and supportive to their followers. They encourage team members for achieving the vision and praise members upon achieving some objective. Moreover, effective leaders have kind and caring attitude towards their followers, both in professional matters as well as in personal matters. Promotion of principles and values are needed not only for the welfare of the organization but also for the welfare of individuals. Beliefs and values are directly connected to the emotions and attitudes of people, hence classified as relationship oriented behavior. Moral and ethical values should be the part of organization's culture and be visible to anyone who comes in close interaction. Effective leaders not only themselves practice high moral standards but also preach these to their followers. Relationship driven leaders have a strong desire to help and serve others, hence known as servant leaders. They not only work for their own goals but also help others in achieving their dreams. Following are the characteristics of servant leaders. Servant leaders are more concerned about the welfare of followers than their own good. They don't have desire for personal status, rewards, or position. Rather, they love to help others. They put themselves behind others. Moreover, servant leaders have listening ear. They love to hear opinions and concerns of the team members. By listening to the followers, they show their confidence in them and hence raise the spirit and morale of team members. Servant leaders behave honestly. The quality of being genuine and trustworthy gets the trust of the followers in leadership. Such leaders set carefully realistic targets and goals. They know that an individual cannot achieve all the targets. So they systematically set the milestones and focus on more pressing needs and goals first. They assign individuals roles according to their capacity. Servant leaders don't hesitate to get their hands dirty in ordinary tasks. At times, they help their team members in accomplishing their jobs. Being at service also means to support workers beyond the workplace, show concern for their personal and emotional needs. For example, if a worker needs advance for the treatment of his ill wife, manager would show sensitive attitude towards his problem. The Michigan University studies were conducted at about the same time as the Ohio State University studies. The research took a different approach by directly comparing the behavior of effective and ineffective supervisors. The effectiveness of leaders was determined by the productivity of the subordinate group as well as job satisfaction among workers. Researchers established two key types of leadership behavior known as employee orientation and production orientation. Job centered leaders emphasize the technical aspects of the job. Leaders put in place the tight work standards, well organized jobs, and proven work methods. Whereas employee centered leaders stress on interpersonal relationships. They focus on the human needs of their subordinates and encourage employee participation by satisfying their needs. Job centered leadership behavior roughly corresponds to initiating structure behavior of Ohio studies. Similarly, employee centered behavior approximates to consideration behavior of Ohio studies. However, unlike the consideration and initiating structure styles defined by the Ohio State studies, Michigan researchers considered employee centered leadership and job centered leadership to be distinct styles in opposition to one another. This means a leader is identifiable by behavior characteristic of one or the other style, but not both. For example, a leader may be job-centered leader, highly job-centered leader, or he may be low on this dimension. Similarly, employee-centered leader may be high on this uh, parameter, or he may be low on this parameter. These two dimensions of leadership behavior, job-centered leadership behavior and employee-centered leadership behavior, they don't exist at the same time. A leader can exhibit only one behavior at any given time. "360-degree feedback" is a formal evaluation method used to measure the leadership performance. As input on leadership effectiveness is received both from team members and customers, like suppliers, vendors, etc. Hence, this feedback is also called multi-rated or multi-sourced feedback. Managers can use the feedback for self-improvement on the identified aspects of the leadership. In this figure, you can see a reference feedback chart. This chart gives feedback about the manager named Bob. The chart has 4 columns. The first column, behavior or attitude. This column contains the statements about managers' behaviors, which we are going to measure, such as it includes statements like manager gives right amount of structure, manager is considerate of people, he sets direction, he sets high standards, and so and so. The second column, self-rating. This column contains the perception of the manager about himself. This is how manager thinks about himself, how he has rated himself. Rating can be given on a scale of 10 from 1 to 10, where 10 means the highest score on that aspect of the behavior, and value 1 means the lowest score on that particular behavior. Like for the first behavior type, that manager gives right amount of structure, Bob has rated himself 9. He has given himself the value of 9. This means he rates himself high on this parameter. The third column, average group rating. This column contains the values, average values from multi-sourced feedback, the feedback which has been received from employees as well as from customers. An average value from these different feedback sources has been put in this column. The fourth column, named as gap, this column contains the difference of values in the self-rating column and the average group rating column. A negative value in this column means that manager has rated himself higher on that particular behavior as compared to the rating received from the group. Whereas a positive value in this column means group rates manager higher than his own personal rating. Care must be taken while designing the feedback form. For example, it should be carefully decided that which aspects of leadership functions and behaviors need to be measured. Particularly, focus should be more on those leadership skills and behaviors which are deemed necessary to achieve organizational goals. Moreover, workers and customers who would provide feedback for a leader, they should be trained in receiving and giving constructive feedback. In addition to this, an action plan must be devised to improve on the weak areas of leadership behavior. Remember, receiving a negative gap value, a manager might get frustrated and he might lose his motivation and morale as group has rated himself, as group has rated that manager low on that particular behavior aspect. So consultancy should be given to the manager to overcome his frustration and to raise his morale. A professional consultant may be hired to provide consultancy, and that consultant may help manager to improve on his weak areas.